Recently on stream, I beat God Eater, aka Astral Divinity. Oh my god! And if you want to see that video, that completion, it will be in the top right of your screen right now. But now I will teach you all the tips and tricks I have learned along this wonderful journey of playing this legendary level by Knobbelboy. So yeah, let's get into Astral Divinity. So Astral Divinity starts out with this legendary like rainbow crystal chamber type thing. This is the optimized version that I am playing, and as long as you don't have like a copy of the old version, this is the version you should be playing on. It looks basically the same and has like 50% less object, but if your computer still has trouble running the optimized version, one thing people don't know about is that if you fly into this structure, it will trigger the LDM of the level. So yeah, if you still have performance issues on this, I'd recommend just flying up into this teleport portal. It will enable LDM for the rest of the level. So the first thing is that this club step monster right here is not an entire straight fly. It's not very level. As you can see, it's got a slight U shape to it, and the hitboxes are just normal hitboxes, as you can see, except they are extended out by about 2 pixels, I want to say that is. So yeah, definitely practice this because it's a very difficult straight fly. It's curved. It's going to kill you a lot if you're not careful. Next, for that yellow orb, you want to hit it roughly where I hit it. It's not too early, it's not too late, and you don't want to click and hold up into it. You just want to click it very firmly to do a little bounce between this saw and this spike. We're going to straight fly in this gap, and then we're going to hit this yellow portal. This is a yellow portal, believe it or not. A lot of these portals in this level are going to be different colors than the vanilla colors just because of all this insane decoration that Knobbelboy did. Just a very firm click, and then once we finish the straight fly, we're going to almost like dip into the yellow portal, and then do a slight incline straight fly, and then this is a normal portal, so we're going to do another dip to get into the next section. You can kind of hear how I don't click directly on or in the portals. I click slightly before and slightly after because that is a very good strategy for passing difficult straight flies that change your gravity mid-flight. Then we do this straight fly. And here there are 2 ways to do this infamous click here. This is a very tight gap, as you can tell. Now the way I did it on my completion and for all of my attempts is I just wait a long time and then click up and hold into this dual. Though one way you'll see a lot of other people do it is to do a little click click, a little double click to clear this section. You go click click and then obviously hold on the second click to clear this gap. But in the end you just want to find out whichever one works best for you. I don't like clicking that fast, so I gave my fingers a little break and just click at a very late frame, but I'll go ahead and show what both of those look like right now. So that's what it looks like if you're going to click late. You can kind of see, if I hide the pause menu, the wave ends up very, very close to the ground, and then you just click and hold, and you'll clear both of them very comfortably. Alternatively, if you don't like getting that close to the ground, you do a little double click. As you can see, you get the same result here. It just keeps you away from the ground if you like doing that. Next, we have this oddly angled and sloped wave. Now, the way I like to do this is the first set of slopes is very awkward. And so what I do is I just wait and then I click and I'll end up on the top section of this normally inclined wave. And then we switch the angle again here and we just spam through here basically. Now, if you click too early, this becomes a very awkward angle to manage to get into, so I just like to wait and be very patient with it and just click and hold up into it. As you can see, it looks, you end up on the top end of here, and then we just do 2 or 3 clicks into here to clear the spike. Then we're back at the normal angle, and then we'll be mini wave. Now this mini wave is very difficult. What I would recommend here is to do 3 clicks where these larger spikes are not at. So we click at the bottom here, so we don't hit this bigger spike, then we fall back down, click up again, fall back down, and then click up again. 3 clicks. If you want to spam, you got to be very consistent, very accurate. It doesn't work out very well, I've noticed. So I just memorize where these 3 clicks are, 1, 2, 3, and then you'll clear that mini wave. That's going to look like this. Then we're going to hit this anti-dual portal, and then we're just going to click through these sections. It's super easy, and if I enable hitboxes here, you can see there's just an invisible saw here, so you have to go down into this very tight gap here. It's fine, and then here there's going to be the teleport portal, and as you can see there's an invisible slab here which has D blocks, so you can land on this and then go into the teleport portal. Just like that. So once we hit the teleport portal, there's going to be 3 stages. There's going to be a fire stage, that's a cube. There's going to be a water stage, that's a ball, or an ice stage if you fancy that. And then a poison green type stage, which is a robot. So at the fire stage, what we're going to do is we're going to fall all the way down onto this platform, then click and then hit this blue orb and hold, so we jump. And then we're going to hit this green orb more late than soon. We want to hit it late, but if we hit it too late, we're going to hit the top spike. So it's kind of like a fine-tune type thing. I tend to hit it slightly after the center. Just like that. Then you can click over this jump. This jump's not terribly difficult. It's pretty open. Then we're going to fall, and then these 2 yellow orbs are both late. Both late. Then, let me enable the hitboxes so you can actually see what's going on here. This transition happens, we're a ball, and we're going to fly up on these slopes. This is going to send your ball flying right around the alignment of this blue orb. So what you can do is you can actually buffer click this blue orb. There's a pad here, so it's just going to launch you back up this platform. If you don't know what buffer clicking is, it's where you click and hold before a click actually is to be registered. This basically makes it so your computer will register the click on the soonest possible frame. And in most cases it won't work, but in this case it does, and it works very nicely. Just like that. Now you can't buffer too soon or else you'll reverse the gravity on that slope. So once you can see your ball flying through the air, you're safe to buffer click. Now if we enable the hitboxes here again, you can see that we have a pretty tight jump between these 2 platforms, and it was so difficult Knobbelboy even graciously extended the platforms, as you can see. We're just going to click here, click back down. This yellow orb is relatively late. You don't want to hit it too early or else you'll end up hitting this spike or this spike. You don't want to hit it too late or you'll end up crashing into the saw. Then we do those 2 clicks between that gap. Then right about here there's a yellow portal, and then we hit these 2 green orbs very quickly. Just like right about when they disappear off the screen is fine. It boosts you up pretty quickly, so you gotta be ready for it, and you do them in pretty rapid succession. Then we do 3 rapid clicks on those orbs. As you can see, I was shooting for the middle of the portal on each one. I'll go ahead and slow down the footage right here. As you can see, on the middle of the portal for all 3 portals. And then we're in the drop. The second you see the Extreme Demon face, that's when the drop is about to appear. So this is a flashbang. It's going to throw us into one of the club step monsters similar to the U-shaped one we saw at the start. This club step monster, though, is friendly to us because we actually match the alignment of the U-shape. We're going to fly into the U-shape, and then you're going to do 2 clicks. However, you can pull it off with 1 if you want. You'll see what I'm talking about. I just do 2 clicks because it's easier for me. So this is roughly, this checkpoint, as you can see on screen, that's roughly where the Extreme Demon face will fade out. We're going to go into this U-shaped club step monster. Right about the center of the monster is where you're going to want to do your first click. Then you're going to click and hold into this green orb. As you can see, there's hitboxes right about at the end of the screen. I recommend putting the start position right before this pad, and you'll be able to get this transition down in no time. Like I said, 2 clicks there. And then we're going to click and hold on this green orb. You cannot click and hold too aggressively because, as you can see, it is a steep incline, but it's not to the very bottom of the level. We have to get through this 1 spike gap, which is really super annoying to time. Again, I'd recommend practicing this. I can't really give you a point on where to stop holding because the truth is it's based off of when you hit the green orb. If you hit the green orb early, you're going to want to stop holding earlier, and if you hit the green orb late, you're going to want to continue holding to clear the spike. So it really depends on where you hit the green orb. I'd recommend, again, putting a start position at the drop so you can get consistent at this. And then once we clear this, there's going to be a gravity switch, and here I like to do 2 clicks again because clicking and holding is a little bit too risky in my opinion. So I do 1 click to stabilize myself between these saws, and then you can click and hold into this area. As you can see, this is not a 1 spike straight fly, so this one's a little bit more generous. 2 clicks to get up. Now, one thing you will notice yourself dying to over and over and over again are these 3 spikes. I mean, seriously, look at the hitboxes on these things. They're atrocious. Now, because of the very unforgiving last 2 top spikes, as you can see, this one's just straight up sticking out, and this one's very close to the portal. You're going to want to be on the lower side rather than the upper side of things. That's going to get you killed to this middle spike a lot, simply because of the way the gravity works. You're going to develop an intuition as you play this level for if you should do a micro click in this downward falling area. If you watch my completion, if you watch Nexus's completion, if you watch Knobbelboy's completion, you'll notice we do this micro click here because it's just a very light tap, because otherwise we crash into the spike, and it also gets us aligned for this portal because this isn't exactly set up to the normal player gravity. Now, however, if you do end up hitting and holding too long on this segment here, you'll end up on the top side of things. And being able to recognize that and not do the micro click that will end up killing you because you're too high anyway, that's sort of a thing that comes with practicing the level. There's not really a thing you can look for because it's like literally a quarter of a block difference. You just develop an intuition for, should I be micro clicking here or not? So that's kind of what the micro click looks like where it is. And then once we hit this upside down portal, we do a little straight fly. And then we're going to hit this mini thing. We're going to fall down. This straight fly isn't that difficult because, again, we switch to mini in the middle of it. So 4 clicks, and then I click and hold. This is a normal gravity portal, and then we just kind of like straight fly at a slight downward angle here. And then we reach, this is a wave portal, and we're going to do 1, 2, 3 clicks. So 2 in here, and then 3 to hold into this mini portal. Now, this does not sync with the music in any way possible. You cannot get this to sync with the music. It does not sync with the music. You will never get it to sync with the music. And it's going to feel very awkward. I get it. When I was first practicing this level, this wave section just felt terrible. I mean, it was so inconsistent, it didn't sync with the music, I just didn't know where the clicks were. Again, this is a thing that comes with practice. You've got to practice it. The clicks are not spam, they are spaced out. There are 4 in the mini wave to get aligned with the very tight gap, which you will be seeing on screen soon. But this is like one of the most inconsistent parts of the levels when you're first learning it. It just is, because it doesn't sync. So as you can see, I did 4 clicks there, and I ended up perfectly in this, as you can see, you can kind of see my fading trail there, perfectly in this very tight gap. You need to memorize where those 4 clicks are in that mini wave to be able to align yourself with these gaps here, because this is, again, it's a really hard part of the level. Just like that. 4 clicks, again, you'll develop an intuition where they are. Then we do 2 clicks here, or 3 if you like spamming. And then we align ourselves in this gap. There's not a lot of tips for this gap, it's just wave skill. And then we click and hold, and then you can stop holding once you hit this portal here. And we're gonna hit this pad, and then we'll be in this dual section. Now at this dual section, we're going to want to hit these yellow orbs pretty late. However, it is possible to actually miss this gap. So it's sort of like 75% late if I had to put a percent on it. You'll see what that means when you can hear and see my click. And as you can hear from those clicks, all of these are late. To get out of the gap, you click late, and these red orbs especially are super late. Once you hit these red orbs late though, you want to click and hold because you're going to switch gravity and you're just going to jump here. And then for this ship straight fly, you start out pretty aligned, so it's not even that bad as it looks. And I do 2 clicks. If you want to do more, that's fine, but I think 2 clicks is plenty to clear this straight fly. If you have a lower refresh rate, it might be more difficult. You might have to put in 3 clicks. Just like that. Now for this wave, you're going to click as the ball and get into the wave. Now when we get into the wave, that's when you let go because you're going to fall into this gap, then we're going to click twice. Boom, boom. Now at the mini wave, there are 2 ways to do it. The way I do it is to just keep the bottom guy on the bottom and the top guy on the top. So basically just draw a line through the wave and say, this guy stays on the bottom and this guy stays on the top. However, if you discover that that's inconsistent for you, you can switch sides, and it's kind of off the screen right now, but you'll see what I mean by switch sides. So as you can see, I just did those 2 clicks, and then right here is where you can switch sides. So this, these 2 spikes aren't actually very visible right now, so I'll enable the hitboxes. What I like to do is I keep the top on the top and the bottom on the bottom. So I click, drop down, and click and hold into here. However, the way like Nexus does it, for example, is he goes up and then clicks and holds and then falls down. I don't like that because these clicks are actually all roughly the same length, so it feels very consistent for me. Just put a start position, play from the start position, and try both of them. It really depends on your play style. If you can click fast and accurately, then I would keep the top on the top and the bottom on the bottom. If you don't like that, if you discover that's too hard for you, then you can try Nexus's style. It really depends person to person. So that's what it looks like if you keep the top on the top and the bottom on the bottom. And that's Nexus's style. Both ways are roughly the same difficulty. It depends on what you like. Now this ship part is very weird. Basically, what happens is these spike structures come flying at you, and as you can see by the hitboxes, they're like super generous. However, there's going to be like a random teleport portal, and then it's going to be like a deadlock transition. So you'll see what I mean. Let me enable speed hack here. So we just teleport, and if I enable hitboxes, you can see that there's just a platform here. So if you're straight flying, you're going to be confused because you're going to hit a wall, basically. Not a wall, but like a platform. You're going to want to do 2 clicks, and then wait for the teleport in the platform, and then 2 clicks again. It's super straightforward. 2 clicks, 2 clicks. Now at this part, these platforms are going to fall into place, and we're going to jump on where the arrows are, basically. We're going to jump between these 2 saws, and then we're going to jump on these platforms to get over here, and then there's going to be yellow orbs in the spikes that we're going to click on. Wait on the yellow orbs. Be very patient, because if you don't, you'll end up jumping off the platform instead. And then there we jump, and then you can hit the pink orb. So the first thing in the ball section is where you decide to click off of this platform. You can click off as early as kind of where my checkpoint is, or you can click off as late as the end of the platform. It really depends on the play style, and it really depends on the click pattern you want to learn. This is a very precise ball part, considering it is at a high speed. And so you need to find what works best for you, especially while there's big teeth basically going up and down. There's a lot of distractions in this part, because there's a lot of moving objects. Not only that, there's a vignette, as you can see, a very large black vignette, which means you can't actually see that far ahead of you. So if you're relying on the spikes for when to time your jumps, like, where's that spike, where's that spike? It's gonna be very difficult to see. Remember, this is 3 times speed. We're going to arrive in this mini ball corridor, and I mean, you can just see by these hitboxes, this is a super unfriendly corridor. If you want a tempo for these clicks here, it's 200 beats per minute, like exactly. Otherwise, I'll just keep this part silent, just the click, so you can hear exactly where these clicks are, because again, the vignette makes it impossible to see ahead of you. Now in this infamous thumbnail straight fly, what we're gonna do is we're going to just drop down, and you can do like light clicks in this section until we're roughly even with it, because when we're even with it, that's when it's like, it becomes normal straight fly for maybe a block or 2. But for here, it's like we're going down at an angle, obviously. So you don't really want to straight fly here. If you want, you can do light clicks, like I said, or you can just fall until we're roughly hugging the bottom spikes. It's pretty easy, especially on a higher refresh rate. As you can see, I like to wait a little bit once I arrive at the ship portal. It's up to you. That is like a super fun section, so I doubt you'll have a lot of trouble practicing it because it's consistent, it's fun, everyone loves it, it's the thumbnail one, so yeah, just have fun with it, find out what straight fly method works best for you there. And then at this wave here, we have 2 options. So the first option is to fall down and then click up and hit this 2 times speed portal. This is super unfriendly and super stupid for multiple reasons, because we're literally hitting the speed portal right before we stop holding, so that's like super hard to time, especially, I mean, like, look at this gap. I mean, just look at it. You cannot time this. You're gonna have a lot of difficulty timing this if you decide to fall all the way down and then click and try to time this release. Like, it's very icky. And so what I would recommend doing, once you hit this cube portal, click and hold. It makes it so that when you hit this wave portal, you go all the way to the ceiling, and as you can see, these 2 invisible rectangles here are invisible 2 times speed portals, and then just basically wait until you're aligned with this top slope here, and then fall. That's gonna look like this. Just like that. And that puts you directly into that little gap, no problems, just it's so much easier compared to the alternative. I mean, that is just a disgusting timing to be able to react to that. I mean, this is 57%. Your heart's gonna be going a little bit here. It's just so much easier to hold and time the gap that way. Now, believe it or not, Knobbelboy, as good of a creator as he is, yeah, he put opposable slopes in Extreme Demon, so yeah, have fun with this part. what I'd recommend doing is spamming and panicking. Alternatively, if you're like, for some reason, a god at wave, you can do this. But like, nobody does that. So what I do is I just spam, basically. As you can see, when you spam like 4, 5, 6 CPS, you never really even get close to the slopes. There's not a lot of danger there. And then we're going to hit this UFO portal. You're going to want to jump once, and then when we hit this 3x speed portal, you can hit this green orb. Now, it may look like, oh shoot, I'm just going to die to this spike. How am I going to get there? Well, there's a teleport portal hidden inside of here, so it's almost impossible to die. You're going to teleport directly on top of the green portal, and we're going to hit the yellow orb. That's going to look like this. You want to hit the yellow orb late, or else you'll just skyrocket into the spike that you were about to hit, so be sure to hit that yellow orb late. Then we're going to fall down this rainbow staircase, click on the orange pillar, and then click and hold on this blue orb. That's going to make us jump onto this green pillar. So once you hit this blue orb, the green pillar will shift over by 1 block, and then these spikes will come down from the ceiling. So we're going to want to jump right about before the spikes to be able to clear onto this aqua pillar. And then right here, this is a devilishly difficult click. You're going to have to hit this yellow orb late. So here I got a freeze frame of it. I clicked this yellow orb late. I mean, look at this gap. It's basically 1 1/4 player lengths. Now, the later you hit it, the better, but if you click it too late, you'll hit this spike, and if you click it too early, you're gonna hit this spike. Now, it should be noted that you should be able to realize kind of where you are, gauge where you are. It gets easier as you practice, but here, the problem with this transition is the fact that this structure is really, really close to where your ship is going to spawn. As you can see, I clicked this yellow orb pretty late, and I'm still near the bottom of the ship portal. So when you hit this ship portal, I would recommend doing a tiny click just to be able to align yourself with this downward slope. Otherwise, you're gonna die to these spikes, and that's super not fun at 65%. Just a tiny click, and then here, we just do a slightly upward straight fly. We're going to go up through this as our mini ship, and right about where my mini ship is, once it clears this final gap, just let go. Let go entirely, because we gotta get all the way to the bottom here to hit this yellow orb. Don't underestimate how much of a boost it's gonna give you. You are a mini ship. It is going to give you a tremendous boost if you click and hold on it. Now, the portal, you can kind of see it on the very, very edge of the screen here. It's right after this gap, and this is a 1 block gap. So you need to practice this yellow orb. Just like that. Now, this robot section here, we're going to do a a medium length click to jump onto this platform. It's going to feel awkwardly late because of this saw and of this spike, but you have to do it like when you're halfway off, kind of where my robot is now. Once we're on the platform, we're going to do a little micro click. The decoration makes it difficult to see, but there is a top spike here, and they are fixed hitboxes. So we need to do a tiny click here, and then our robot is going to be very happy if you are able to click this in the direct center. However, depending on if you do this first click, if you do it late or early, is going to affect when you want to hit this green orb. I would try my best to get consistent at this green orb. The timing of this blue orb is also dependent on the green orb. These series of 3 clicks are all interlaced. Just like that. Now these pillars are very, very annoying. The reason these pillars are annoying is because they've got these sideways spikes that have really weird hitboxes. So we want to jump, do 2 tiny clicks here. If you don't click hard enough for this last click, when you buffer this blue orb, which by the way, you want to buffer this blue orb, timing this is a nightmare because it's literally blind. You're going to end up just dying to the UFO transition. So if you like do a micro click on here, which is possible because of the hitboxes, which I wouldn't recommend doing, it's going to kill you. So just a thing to keep in mind, on this last click, don't micro click. Just like that. Then again, buffer that blue orb. Now the annoying thing about this UFO is that in the old version, it just spawned in immediately. In the optimized version, the transition brings the bottom stuff up from the ground and the top stuff down from the ceiling, and it's super hard to sight read. I mean, like, it's so annoying, dude. Now, these hitboxes on these black things are not very friendly at all. I died twice to the floor of this, and as you can see, this saw and this spike don't make your job any easier. So what I'd recommend doing is doing 2 rapid clicks. That's going to push you onto this platform. This is a sideways yellow portal, so that's going to flip your gravity the second you hit it on the left side. Then we're going to do 1 click to clear this club step monster. just like that. Then you hit this yellow orb late and this green orb late. Now this is where things get messy. We're gonna click to clear this gap. Now with these blue orbs, they are super awkward. I don't even know how to really describe the timings other than I think this one's late, this one's like late, and the yellow orbs like in the center. They're super awkward and they're out of sync. So you need to practice the UFO on your own. I mean, it's already difficult enough, but these last couple of orbs make it super awkward. There, as you can see, I did an extra click. I hit the yellow orb, and then I let go, and then I clicked up on the wave. Because, as you can see, where my trail ends here is where you're going to end up spawning as the wave, and that's going to kill you to this upper platform. So I do 4 clicks, 1, 2, 3, 4, because in my opinion, that makes it easier to transition into this wave. So this wave is basically what you see is what you get, but the platforms do shift up and down by micro units every second. So for this one, you're going to want to do a micro click. You can do it anywhere between these 2 sets of spikes, but there's a nicely laid out place for you to do it right here. You want to sort of do it in this general area where the structures are separated. Then we hold up. This guy shifts down, so don't go all the way, don't go hugging him, because he's going to shift down on top of you. Then we click up through these 2 saws, up again. Once we hit the yellow portal, the shifting no longer really becomes a problem. It's really that micro click and then this guy. And then you do those clicks. Again, the shifting isn't really a problem there. Then in this red ball section, this first click is super awkward. You want to click like on the latest possible frame on this platform that you can. And then this is a green orb, and the way you do it is you click it like super late to almost like slide the ball off of it. You can kind of see how the ball like slides off of it. It's super weird. And then this is a yellow orb, and we want to hit it late. Obviously, I've waited too long and my cube's about to die to the ground. But you want to hit this yellow orb late because this gap is really difficult. Then once we've hit the yellow orb, we click onto this platform. So basically, we're going to go on this platform here that's not on the slope. The guy in the middle of the slopes is where we're going to click off of to hit this green orb. But you want to do it late, so I just align myself with this spike almost. And then you do 2 rapid clicks. And then right here on these 3 clicks, the click pattern is very similar to what we did in the UFO. It's 4 clicks, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's not really a lot of timing between them. Then we end up in the final duel here, and one thing you're going to notice is that a lot of these transitions in this level flashbang you, and this is not an exception. So these yellow orbs, you have to remember that they're there. So I'd recommend buffering them. You can buffer this, and you can buffer the black orbs. Then right here, we just fall, and then we fall onto this structure here, and then we click, we follow the arrows. We're gonna land here, we just fall again, do a 3 spike jump. And then right here, you're going to click and buffer the first 2 clicks. We're going to buffer the pink orb and buffer the yellow orb, but this is a really hard jump. Right here, you're going to click off of this platform between this spike and between this saw to land in a 3-time ship transition. It's really nasty. I, luckily, did not die to this transition before completion, even though I had multiple runs that ended because of it. Like when I was practicing trying to get like 30 to 100, I would die here so much. So practice this dual cube to ship transition because it is nasty. You can't just click off of it. You have to click and almost give it a little bit of hold. So you can kind of see how I buffered those, and then you click and you have to hold because we have to clear this upside down U shape here, this arc, because of this saw. Then we're going to straight fly. Then once we reach here, we need to click and hold on this yellow orb to get into this yellow portal. Now if you keep holding, you'll end up dying because this is a aligned straight fly. So you want to stop holding roughly on these last 2 spikes so you can click this yellow orb. I'll show you it in speed hack so you can kind of see exactly where you need to click and hold and when you need to stop holding. Right about there is when you stop holding so you can align yourself and hit the yellow orb. And then we dip down and you click and hold on the blue orb to get through here. And then this is a straight fly. So even though the screen's going to like start blacking out during the straight fly, you need to keep straight flying because the hitboxes don't disappear. And then in the final sequence here, this yellow orb is very, very late. This blue orb is very, very late. So You need to practice this. Very, very late. Then we hit this pink orb that's kind of cleverly disguised here. It's going to send us up into an invisible transition where there's 3 orbs, 2 green orbs, and then a pink orb, and you can kind of click those in rapid succession once you get boosted up. And then you jump, and you're done with Astral Divinity. So yeah, that's how you beat Astral Divinity or God Eater by Knobbelboy. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.